Hey everyone, I hope you all are having a good day, and as I always say, welcome back to Fun in Miniature. As you will remember from last week's video, this week's battle is a battle between the Jacobites and the British government forces. While the Jacobites might have a slight numerical superiority, only time will tell if that will be enough to turn the tide in their favor. Here is a general look at the battlefield. There are a few primary terrain features on the battlefield. First of all, here is the hill on which the Jacobites deploy. On the British side of the field, you have a much larger hill. It is here circled in blue. Next, you have a higher knoll right here. This here is the last terrain objective that really featured in the battle. It is a dense wood. Other than their hill, the Jacobite army deploys in the open. As can be seen, though, the British forces take more care in their formation as they deploy with the dense wood on their one flank and their cavalry to cover the other. The British get the initiative and thus start the ball. The battle opens with an intense artillery duel, which carries away a number of the infantry for both sides, but otherwise at first is not very effective. By turn 5, casualties are beginning to mount. However, both sides are still using the time they have to try and whittle away the enemy. Out of the blue, the Scottish Lowlander artillery managed to roll a double 6, inflicting casualties on the British opposed to them, as well as wounding the British commander, who is unable to issue further orders for one turn. Just as the Jacobites believe they can rely heavily on their Lowland artillery, it goes short of ammo. As a result, the Jacobites decide it is time to attack the British positions. The Jacobites move into grape shot range, only for the British artillery to immediately go short of ammo as well. The Jacobite infantry moves forward, and with a massive shout, they charge forward into the face of the British line units. The Jacobite left is all but crippled under the fire of the British infantry, as well as the now low on ammo British artillery, as both grape shot and musket fire lay them low. Things, however, were going better on the Jacobite right, where their infantry had been able to come to grips with their British counterparts. The dice, however, as in most things in such a game, had other things to say, as the Jacobites were sent reeling back against a wall of elite British bayonets. The Jacobite cavalry moved forward to attack the opposing British cavalry, and at the same time, a fresh unit of Jacobite infantry threw themselves at the elite British grenadiers. In the ensuing chaos, the grenadiers were pushed back, and the unit that was next to them was completely broken, and their flags were lost to the Jacobites. At the same time, the Jacobite cavalry was able to force back their counterparts. This, however, left them exposed to a charge by the other British cavalry unit. At this point, the Jacobites have launched multiple charges against the secondary British line, and as you can see, one of their units has also broken from the field due to the humongous fire of the grape shot as well as infantry opposed to them. The ensuing cavalry charge is completely devastating to the Jacobite flank, as it sends their cavalry plus a unit of Highlanders fleeing. They then proceed to close with the rear flank of a fresh Highlander unit, who is, by the way, also accompanied by the Bonnie Prince. In a complete upset, though, the Jacobites managed to roll double sixes and trounce their opponents, who subsequently flee the field, having lost their colors. This victory, however, was only too little too late for the Jacobites, as the British, although at this point incredibly bloodied, proceed to close in and surround the remainder of the Highland infantry with their backs to the dense wood. The Jacobites were able to hold out for a few more turns, however, they would eventually break and quit the field. Their artillery would do the same thing, and as a result, they were able to, although badly bloodied, still fight another day. The results then are that the Jacobites are still alive as a faction, however, they have been bloodied, and the British will have to finish them off next turn. Well, that's it for today, folks. I hope you all enjoyed. I thank you very much for watching, and I wish you a very good rest of your day. If you all enjoy my content, please feel free to like and subscribe. It definitely helps out greatly.